welcome to a special episode of Life in Conversation. I'm Shiwi, and I'm here at the Northwest Lowrider 2022 Car Show. About to ask some people some very thought-provoking questions, and let's see where the conversation goes. Hey, what's up? I'm here with
Frank Sanchez.
My name is Shiwi, and thank you for taking the time.
Mm-hmm.
What do you identify as?
Chicano.
Chicano, orale. And which is stronger, love or hate?
Love.
Love, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
How do you define success?
My family, the kids, my grandkids, seeing them grow, trying to guide them the right way, and they also teach me a lot of things.
Yeah. What gets you up in the morning?
We got to. I mean,
right? You got to hit that snooze button.
Yeah. We just got to. I mean, you got to move around, enjoy life while you can.
Yeah. And what gets you excited about life?
Like I said, family gatherings.
Okay.
Yeah, whenever we have a family gathering, it's pretty cool.
It's beautiful to have family.
Yeah, it is.
Here's a tough one. Do you think crying is a sign of weakness or strength?
To me, it's strength.
Totally.
Yeah, to me, it's strength.
I believe so too, because I believe it takes strength to show vulnerability.
Yeah,
to
it
be
does.
vulnerable, to be so comfortable that you don't care what people think.
Yeah.
And you're processing a human emotion that we all experience.
Yeah.
What's a belief you hold which many people disagree with?
Oh, wow. Now, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I can't even answer that one.
It's all right. I know that's a more like,
I really have to stop and think about that one.
What would you do differently if you knew nobody would judge you?
I don't know.
It's all right. What is the difference between living and existing?
Oh, man. Existing, I think, you're just here. Living is you're living the full life. To me, the whole love and your family together.
Yeah.
Existing is just like you're here.
That is true. You're just here. You're going through the motions.
Yeah.
You're not really taking all that life has to offer and living life to the fullest.
Mm-hmm.
Pursuing your dreams.
Yeah.
When you're 80 years old, what will matter to you the most?
My family.
Family. Familia, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
What is the one thing you would most like to change about the world?
Or just, what do you call it? Everybody be happy. I mean, get together. Everybody. I mean, just more united.
Yeah.
Yeah, just.
And can our people ever be united?
Someday they will. I don't know when.
What do you
Probably
think?
not in my lifetime, but
Yeah.
maybe.
What do you think is holding us back from reaching that? From us being united?
Oh, man, that I don't know. If I did, it would be united right now.
And what lesson have you learned in your life would you like to pass on to the younger generation?
The family stay together. As the family gets bigger, they got to work harder to stay together. Like just love each other, stay together, try to.
Yeah.
'Cause
And if you were to look into the heart of an enemy or the heart of someone you don't like, if you don't have enemies, what would you see differently? And what would you see similar to yourself?
I got to stop and think about that one because I can't comprehend that one in my. That's a tough one too. Can't think. Repeat that again.
So if you can look into the heart of an enemy or someone you don't like, what would you see different and what would you see similar?
Different. I gotta find out why I don't like him, I got to find out why he doesn't like, why I don't like him, and figure out why he doesn't. I mean, like, there must be a reason,
Yeah.
and maybe I can improve myself for him to accept me who I am or whatever. I don't know if that makes sense at all.
Sometimes
Yeah.
things don't make sense. It's
Yeah.
just more that you got to experience it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take too much of your time. And one last one is, what life lesson did you learn the hard way?
Let me see. So far, life's been good to me, so I don't know. I mean, my values ain't very high. Como si the values are high, but we're not material people. So we take whatever we got, we take it. I mean, we enjoy it.
That's
So.
good. And I know I said that was the last one, but I just remembered one good one. And if you have 30 seconds to say a message to everybody in the whole world that they could hear simultaneously, what would you say?
Love each other. Just love each other.
Simon, love each other. It all comes down to love.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for your time.
Okay. Thank you.
Enjoy yourself. I'm here with
Michelle?
My name is Shiwi. All right, so the first question is, what do you identify as? Because, our gente, we identify as different things. Chicano, Mexican-American, Latino, the new one, Latinx.
Right, I identify as Chicana.
Chicana, and may I ask why is that? Just
Because I'm Mexican American and born and raised in Cali.
Órale.
Yep.
What part of Cali?
Sacramento.
Sacramento. Do you mind putting it a little bit closer?
Sacramento.
Sacramento. All right. So the first one is love versus hate. Which is stronger?
Love is stronger.
Love is stronger. I
Yeah.
believe that wholeheartedly as well. But yet this world is full of hate. If everybody wants love, why do you think people choose hate?
I think the people that choose hate is because they have a lack of love in their life. So someone that truly hates has a reason for it, but experiencing love can change that and it can conquer that hate. It may not totally eliminate it, but it can make them change their point of view.
Exactly. I believe that as well. And what does it mean to be human?
Sometimes I don't feel human, so but it's an experience to me because not only is it just human nature that I have, but for me, I get to experience life. I get to be on this earth and experience nature, experience other people, do the things that I love. And, sometimes I sometimes prefer nature to people. So
I'm like that as well. I love nature.
Yeah.
But at some point, I realized that we ourselves are nature.
We are.
are an extension of nature, just like the other creatures.
Exactly. We
And-
have our creator, so.
And we just are disconnected with nature from ourselves. At
True.
least I believe that.
Yeah.
Is it more important to love or to be loved?
I feel like it's more important to love.
Yes,
Because if you welcome love and you love others, then you're welcoming love to yourself.
exactly. You get what you put out.
Exactly.
How do you define success?
Success is what you make of it. So success can be you accomplishing a goal. It could be you reaching a goal it could be graduating college, it could be graduating high school. A goal can be pretty much anything you want it to be. You set small ones and you reach your maximum capacity at wherever you feel your goal is reached. Not as your view of others, but how you view yourself and your
Yeah.
accomplishments along the way.
I love that. That's a beautiful answer. I
you.
feel like so many people get caught up with just one definition of success where you're wealthy, you're rich, or your status. And that could be success for someone, but that is not a universal success for everybody.
Exactly. And you congratulate yourself. Don't expect others to applaud you for your own accomplishments. You
Yeah.
have to applaud yourself.
Yep, I like that. What gets you excited about life?
Everything.
Everything?
Everything. Waking up in the morning and walking out and seeing a beautiful day and seeing my son and seeing my family and experiencing events like how we're at now. We're at a car show and we're looking at all these beautiful cars that everybody puts their passion into, and it's just beautiful. Look at all these people here.
It is.
It's nice. So I am excited about life.
Me too.
Yeah.
I get a little depressed, not depressed, but a little sad sometimes when I see people, they so defeated by life. They just kind of like have that defeated attitude and they're not excited about life.
I know a lot of people like that.
And I sometimes just want to shake them up and be like, wake up, live life. There's so much to explore, to do, experience.
There is. When you have people that are they have a negative aspect about them, opening their view and sharing your vision with those other people can sometimes make a change in their life. So when I look at that, I do that for other people. If I see somebody that's down and out, hey, I'm here to talk to. Come talk to me. Let's chat about it. Let's go hang out, whatever. And, sometimes it's just a little bit of perspective, and sometimes people just want to be heard.
That is true. Do you think crying is a sign of weakness or strength?
Absolutely not. It takes a strong person to cry.
Yep. For a long time, like, as you know, like in our culture, that machismo and men, where it's like you have to like toughen up. You can't show emotions. You know that's weakness.
I never think a man crying is weak.
But that's the the culture that our culture brings up. Our boys are taught like to be tough. Sé fuerte, no seas chillón. Only girls cry, and that kind of like toxic mentality.
That's absolutely true. And I will tell you, the 2 times that I've ever seen my father cry was for a legitimate reason. Any other time, I'd never seen him cry. He was the strongest man I've ever known. And the fact that a man would actually shed a tear over something special or something that reaches him, that doesn't make him any less of a man. To me, that makes him more of a man.
Yeah. To show a little vulnerability.
Right. We're all human. Whether you're a man doesn't mean that you're any less of a better provider, doesn't mean you're not as macho or as strong as what you want to be. That just means that you're real.
Yeah. And what impact do you want to have on the world?
I teach leadership.
You do?
I do.
That's awesome.
I train managers and I train leaders. I turn managers into leaders for my job. That's what I do for a living.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. So what I want to do is I want to make a change because I see a lot of people that have potential and they don't show their potential. And sometimes they don't even know they have it, but I can see it in them. And sometimes I'll just, give them a little bit of a push, see what you can do. Don't be so hesitant to think that you can't be successful. Go out there. What's the worst that can happen? You fail.
Yeah.
Everybody that has been successful has failed at one point in time.
Exactly. From my studies and looking at life, is failure is a part of success. It's the roadmap to success.
That's exactly right. If you look at all the successful people in the world, ask them how many times they failed.
Yep.
Read about it and see how many times they failed, because all those failures is what put them towards that success.
Exactly. I like to point at the analogy how a baby, when they learn to walk, first they crawl, and then they stand up, but then they fall. Then they take that step, and then they fall. But it's a process. They fail, but they keep back up.
Exactly. And it's not about how many times you fail. It's about all the baby steps you took to get there to actually have that success.
Yep.
When you see a ladder, if you take 2 steps up the ladder, what's going to happen? You're going to fall. The ladder's going to fall over. But if you take baby steps and you get to the top, guess what? It may have taken you longer to get there, but now you're at the top. You're not at the beginning. You're not starting anymore.
Yeah. That's great. What is the one thing you would most like to change about the world?
I think that there's a lot of people that hate. There's a lot of hate in our world right now. And it's really sad. When you look at it, there's people that look at other races, other ethnicities. They don't understand. They don't understand culture. They don't understand principles. They don't understand morals.
Yeah.
And that would take us further in this world if people would just take a step back and look where someone comes from, what they've been through, and just actually, instead of judging it, appreciate it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out, connect.
That's right.
We have more in common than we have differences.
Exactly. We're all human. Everybody here has a heartbeat. Everybody here has a mother and a father.
Yep.
Maybe they're not in their lives, but they came to this earth on that, having a mother and father. I just feel like we're not all that different, and if we just set our differences aside, it helps us to unite.
Speaking of unite, can our people ever unite?
Absolutely.
What do you think is hindering that union? Or what's a roadblock that stops us from uniting?
I think the differences in people, the way they think, the way they are brought up, what they accept and what they don't accept. So if you are open and you open your heart to just being accepting, there's a lot of people that don't accept people in their own family that either they marry outside their race, or they are bisexual or gay or transgender or whatever the case may be. Just because that person is different from what you are doesn't mean that they don't deserve the love and respect. So I think that putting that aside and allowing, opening your heart to just more than just what you believe in and what your beliefs are, and actually respecting the next person, it takes you really far in life.
It does. And when you're 80 years old, what will matter to you the most?
My memories and my family. All my memories with my family. Unfortunately, my dad passed at 63. I never expected that he would pass so early, but the fact that I have all those memories with him helps me to get through every day.
Yeah.
Because he set a foundation for me to be a strong woman, a strong Chicana, never ever be ashamed of who I am, where I come from, with my family, my history, none of that. Because none of those roadblocks that I had and experienced growing up has prevented me from being the woman that I am and how successful I am today.
That's beautiful. And when we physically die, what do you think happens?
Well, our spirits are here forever. Our spirits are here. So my dad's spirit's here. That was my dad's car.
That one?
My dad painted that car. I'm 43 years old. That car was painted when I was a baby.
Wow.
My dad told my brother and I before he passed away that he wanted us to travel with this car, and that's what we're doing.
Wow.
So the experiences that I have with him, they'll remain forever, and I'll pass them down to my son, my niece and nephew. They experience this with us as family. Our family's strong. And
Good.
even though we lost a part of that, his spirit's here with us. Our spirits live on, and our memory lives on within our loved ones and the people that we reach out to and that we touch while we're here.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that this physical existence is just temporary, but I believe we are eternal. Our soul,
Absolutely.
Our spirit, and they're with us. Our ancestors, our loved ones. We just don't see them because of our human mind and this reality that we're in, but I wholeheartedly believe that this is just a temporary phase of our existence.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, I feel the same way. So we'll live on, even though our bodies are our vessel.
Yeah.
Our spirit is not. Our spirit lives on.
Exactly. It's like a container is how I look at it.
Exactly.
And one last question is, if you had 30 seconds right now to say a message that everybody on the whole planet would hear at the same time, what would you say?
Love, respect, and appreciate the people around you, but most of all, appreciate yourself. Because the respect you show yourself is how others will view you, as well as appreciate who you are, and your memory will live on based upon the changes and the people that you touch while you're here.
That's beautiful, beautiful. And I must say, if I may say, you do not look at all like 43.
Oh, yeah, I get that a lot. I have a young face. Thank you, though. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for your time. Enjoy the show. I'm here with, what's your name?
Ronnie.
And you mind putting it a little bit closer?
Ronnie Morales.
Ronnie, my name is Shiwit.
What's your name?
Shiwit.
Shiwi.
Yeah, it's not one.
Yeah, cool. Navajo, huh? I'm Aztec and Mayan.
Yeah, nice. And then I want to start off by saying, like, what do you identify as? And in the sense that, you know how our gente, we can't agree on a identification, Chicano,
well,
Mexican
I used to
American.
call myself Chicano until I went to college up here, and I found out that I'm actually indigenous native. I'm Yaqui, Aztec, and Mayan.
Orale. You know what?
So,
I am too. I recently did a DNA test, and it showed that I was 73% indigenous to Mexico. And
well,
honestly,
that's why I tell people, I go, no, I'm indigenous native. I
the
don't
mic-
consider myself Chicano anymore. That was just a label we were putting on ourselves.
exactly. That's
You
how I
know?
feel.
Yeah.
I also feel that most of our gente are actually indigenous, but we're just disconnected from our culture.
Exactly.
The Spanish way of life has dominated Mexico, and even in Mexico, like there's racism with the more indigenous population.
No, I agree. It's like, I got a bunch of familia that's over in Mexico, Tijuana, Nayarit, Sonora, but they call me a pocho
Yeah.
because I'm American. I'm like, a what? I'm like, what do you mean a pocho?
We
I'm
love to hate
like,
ourselves, right?
Yeah, I'm like, again, why are we even, giving each other different names and putting each other down when we should be lifting each other up?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all about uniting family and this, that, and bring out our culture and what we do and everything. Like I'm the president of the Latino Student Union at Lake Community College, so I do Dias de los Muertos. I do a car show. We call it Showdown in the Valley and all this, and But I'm always trying to bring my car club, Royal Image. We go to the car shows, and a lot of guys, they go, you know why we get in your car club? It's because you bring your wife, your kids, and stuff. It's not like most guys want to be hardcore, or we got our cars and we're this. And I'm like, no, it's about family, You got to bring shit together with everybody, So.
For sure. And I am all about like reconnecting with our roots, reconnecting with our ancestors, learning our original languages, because like Spanish is not our languages. That's the European colonizers' languages.
Exactly, from Spain.
Our languages are Mayan, Nahuatl, Urapecha, Mixtec, all those.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn Nahuatl myself, but I haven't had much time.
Well, it's like in LA when I was growing up, and I tell people, I go, look, I speak Galo. It's like a broken Spanglish, so to say. But everybody's like, Galo. I'm like, yeah. I grew up with Kid Frost, this, that, everybody down
Totally.
Boulevard, Lake, and all this stuff. And, so I just try to always better myself as a man and as a father and everything else. I know that I did a lot of stuff when I was younger, but I had to let that go. And here, that's why I talk good now,
Yeah.
I correct myself when I speak, and my daughters, they graduated from the U of O. My son's, he's in college. It's like, so I'm doing something right.
Yes, you are.
I'm doing something right. So, but yeah, it is. It's like, we gotta pull people together. I'm always trying to show love with people. Sometimes I show my love with my money, and I shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
It's like, but my kids, they're grown men. My nieces, nephews, they'll still come up and sit on my lap and give me a kiss. My uncle, and I love that.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't matter how old they are, they're still, my uncle, like, come here.
In the end, all that matters is love. I mean, money comes and goes, but the impact that you make with love and connecting with people lasts a lifetime.
Right.
And speaking of love versus hate, which do you think is stronger?
Well, I would have to say love, because if you sit there and you hate somebody, then you're actually putting a burden on yourself by being evil in that way,
Yeah.
So like with my wife, and I said, look, I don't want to argue. It doesn't matter who's right or wrong. Can we just let it go and move on? Because if I sit there and we argue with my wife, and this is what my teacher told me, he goes, why do you want to prove her wrong so you can make yourself feel better? Like you're the right one, and it shouldn't matter who's right or wrong. It's like, baby, can we just let this go? Can we, here, I love you. I don't want to sit here and fight with you.
Yeah.
I'd rather just let it go, So, and it works out that way better. I mean, just with other people. I run into people, and it's like, sometimes people want to say something to me, and I'm just like, hey, I'm sorry, I apologize, try to be cool about it, and downplay it. So this way it doesn't go to a different level where you end up fighting or doing, getting pissed off or, stuff. It's not worth it. It's not worth my time and my headache. I'm like, no, I want to be happy. I want to go here. I want to go with my kids. I want to go here. I want to do stuff that makes me happy, not stuff that brings me down.
Exactly.
So
That's beautiful. And I wanted to ask you, what life lesson would you like to pass on to the younger generation?
I would have to say to just be real, you know. Don't be fake, don't be phony, be yourself, you know, be proud of who you are, but don't get an ego about who you are, you know, because once you start getting an ego about it, again, you're thinking you're better than everybody else. So I like to let my kids know, like, hey, be proud of who you are. This is who you are, da-da-da. Don't forget where you came from, you know. So always uplift yourself. I'm always trying to make myself a better man. I tell my wife that, and she told me that. She goes, it takes a long time to raise a good man. And I was like, oh, shit, it does. I was like, damn, she was right. So that's why I say she taught me about communication, a lot of different things, and I love that about her, and I try to pass that on to other people, you know, because I used to be a hard ass, you know.
I think at some point we were.
And all this, and, you know, orale homes, I'm scared loco, and all that. It's like, no, I'm just Ronnie now. And I tell people, like, I'm just Ronnie. I'm not top dog, because that's my, everybody, guys that know me on cars, they're like, top dog. I go, you know my name's Ronnie, right? I'm like, they're like, oh, you top dog. I'm like, all right, but it is. It's like smiles, this, that, you know, there's no reason why, you know, a man can't give another man a hug, you know, support each other here, you know. It's like, and we have that much more, you know. You put happiness in your life, in your family's life, and the whole bit.
Exactly.
You know? So that's what I'm about now. I'm like, look, I'm just trying to do good and stay out of trouble, and, you know, I let go of all the bullshit in LA, because that was drama, you know. That was just drama. So, but other than that, you know, like, I got my grandson here, you know, so that's why I say, you know, we bring my family, we do stuff together, you know. So it's a whole different culture, but lowriders are a big part of my culture growing up, because I've always done it since I was like 13 years old, the lowrider bikes, the cars, the hydraulic. So it's part of my heritage, I want to say, you know, because that's where the culture that I grew up in, you know. I don't go by, like I said, the label of Chicano anymore.
Yeah.
I'm indigenous native.
That's how I identify as well.
Exactly.
Native.
I'm like, look, I'm indigenous native, yes, Mexican Indian.
Yeah.
Like, look, so, and it's a big thing. A lot of people don't think that way.
They
just
don't.
think about themselves and, oh, let me be a pachuco, let me, you know, hear this, that, and stand up by the walls. And now, like I said, I got shot when I was 15 years old. It's not good. It is not good.
No.
It's like I was a kid, you know, and a kid at 15 should not be getting shot.
Nope.
You know, so I try to do, you know, a lot of different things. I involve my kids with the bicycles. I build them bicycles and everything, you know, and here, you know, let's go. We go to picnics, we go here, you know, we do stuff together. Family, you know, family.
Family,
That's the big
familia.
thing, family.
I wanted to ask you, what is the simplest truth you can express in words?
Say that again?
What is the simplest truth you can express in words? I know that's a kind of a deep one.
Yeah. I would just have to say, you know, don't be afraid to fucking tell people that you care, that you love them before they're gone, and you don't have a chance to tell them you love them.
Exactly.
You know?
I've wholeheartedly believed that. When I thought once, and I'm like, why do people give all these nice speeches at the funeral? But why didn't you tell
After
that to
they're
them
gone,
when they were alive? Yeah.
I did that with my brother. My brother Robin passed away. And
Sorry to hear
everybody
that.
went up there and was, oh, he was this, and oh, well, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, I went up there, and the preacher, the minister guy, he goes, thank you for going up there and being so honest. Because I did. I was like, you know what, it's really sad that everybody wants to say good stuff about my brother after he's dead, not while he was alive.
Yeah.
Nobody would help him do this because he had a heroin problem and stuff. And so nobody would let him in the house, this, that. I said, no. I said, don't act like he was all that to you now, because you didn't do nothing for him when he was alive and there. You know, and I tell people, that's why I said, no, to me, money's money, it's just possessions, you know. So I'm happy the way I am now and living my life, because I am a better man than what I used to be.
Me too. You sound like a very wise man.
Yeah, it's like it took me a long time to figure things out, but
You got there, though. A lot of people never do.
I figured it out. Like, so.
One thing I told my wife, if I die or when I die, don't just say the good things. Say the bad things too. Say the things that irritated you about
well,
me.
that's like with my brother. I said at the funeral.
Yeah, honest.
That's why the preacher came. He goes, "Thank you for being so honest about things," and da da da. Because I could see the tension in the room, you know. And I go, "Well, yeah." I says, "I'm honest. If you don't want to know, don't ask me, because I'm going to tell you point blank what I feel and how I feel and what I want and where I want to go."
Yep.
And I tell people that. I go, "What do you see yourself in 5 years?" And a lot of people are like, "Huh?" I go, "Okay, what do you see yourself in 2 years?" And they're still like, "Huh?"
What do you see
I'm
yourself
like,
in 5 minutes?
Look, I gotta go. I know where I want to be. I
Yeah.
know what I want in life. You know, I got 13 grandkids. I love seeing my grandkids and doing stuff and the whole bit. Like I said, again, family.
Yeah.
Again, family. So, but that's pretty much all I do now is, I work on cars and, stay home.
Totally.
Kids and, grandkids and all that, so.
I eagerly wait for grandkids. And I say I'm eager to have grandkids, but I also want to take my time because my son is 17.
Well, I was a dad at 16 years old.
Not much different from me. I was 17 when my son was
That's
born.
why I got twin daughters, and they're 42 years old right now.
But it's awesome because then you're young, and then you're a young grandfather. You can enjoy your
You can enjoy
grandkids.
yourself and stuff, your time, and spend it with them instead of being an old viejito and not being able to do anything with them because you're too old.
Yep. And then on the subject of death, what do you think happens when we physically die?
Well, that's a hard one because I know there's a higher power, whether it's Muhammad, Jesus, it's like there's a higher power above us.
Yeah.
So, and I really don't believe in hell. So, and your body just goes into the ground and, here, it's not, this is just like a little capsule that your body is, a vessel.
You think just like me.
It's like that, so a lot of little things that things that I try to tell my kids, I go, look, think about it, okay? And they do, and they're like, thank you, Dad, for talking to me. And I'm like, yeah. I said, look, I want the best for you, okay? I'm going to tell you like it is. Whether you're right or wrong, I'm going to tell you and stuff. Now, hopefully you'll learn from your mistake and correct it and not go back that way, which I love because my kids don't do drugs they smoke weed, but that's about it.
It's because they had a good father in their life.
Here, it's like, look, but it is. It's like, here, you got to show them so they can follow in that right path, so to say.
Yeah.
So,
lead by example.
Lead by example. So that's what I try to do. And like I said, I used to be in the gangs and all this stuff and sold dope and did shit. And, that's why I'm like, no, that's not who I want to be anymore. I'm like, I just stopped it all. And
do you regret it?
Yes.
You do?
I regret it a lot.
Do you regret the lessons that you learned from it?
Well, I had to learn the hard way because I ended up losing my son. He shot himself at 15 years old.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So that made me really quick realize again, love them while they're here.
Yeah.
I didn't get to tell my son I loved him before he passed away. We actually argued. So it's kind of like hit and miss with me there. I'm like, that's why I moved to Portland and got out of Eugene, but now I'm back in Eugene. But you gotta love the people,
Yeah.
You can't sit there and let your ego, and be, like I said, if you love them, why do you want to prove them wrong? Hey, just like, look, it doesn't matter who's right or wrong. Can we just move on? So I try to do that and everything.
Last question. If you have 30 seconds to say a message to everybody in the whole world that will listen at the same time, what would you say?
I would tell them that I love them all and I'm here for them whenever they need me, support, this, that, not material things, it's like, hey, I'm here, So that's the biggest thing. I try to tell people, I said, look, I love my family. And I don't say it enough. I try to, but I always try to, I love you, come here, So, because I lost my son and didn't get to say I love you or anything, So it's a big thing, but he was my little man and I regret losing him.
Well, I believe one day you'll see him again.
I hope, I hope. So.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you, brother.
It was a good conversation. What's your name?
Clown Prince from the Raider Homies.
That's what's up. And I want to first ask you, like, what do you identify as? Because you know how our gente, we identify with like Chicano, Mexican American, Latino. Like, how do you identify?
I identify with toda la raza. We're, you know, one nation, one love. Just like as in the Raider Homies. It's all like they say, vario quien sabe. It doesn't matter. It's always one love.
Orale. And I want to ask you, what's more powerful, love versus hate? Love or hate? Which
Always
one?
Love, always love.
Always
brother.
love?
There's nothing can bring but hate, but separation, and with love, it brings everybody together, unity.
Yep. And if people like always choose love, but why is there so much hate in the world? Why do you think people choose hate?
Because there's other people that can't grab the grasp of you being happy, when all they have to do is grab the love, and they can be just as happy.
Yep. And what does it mean to be human to you?
To be human?
What does that
be
mean?
alive and see everything, you know what I mean? To enjoy life.
Yep. And what life lesson you learned would you like to pass on to the younger generation? Sorry.
Oh, that's a hard one.
That's
you
a
know
hard
what I
one,
mean? 'Cause
yeah.
There's so many, and it's one of them ones that just don't hate, you know what I mean? There was a lot of hatred, not really hatred, it was always, you know, us against them type, you know, mentality. Now it's all about one love, just together, juntos. We can conquer more with love than hate.
Simon, and what's a lesson that you learned the hard way?
Oh man.
I know these are deep
Hey,
questions. That's what this show's about.
Hey, I got into some really bad stuff. I went to prison, but prison's kind of sent me to it ain't for me. So I went on the narrow straight. After prison, I said, it's so good, not for me.
That's what's up. It was like a lesson. That was the
It was a
cost of
lesson,
that
yeah.
lesson.
It was a hard one, you know.
It was a hard one. And what do you think happens when we die? Like, when we physically die, is that it, or do we go somewhere else? What's your
I
belief?
hope not, because I have a lot of loved ones that passed away already that I would like to hug and talk to again, you know what I mean?
For sure.
And I hope that can continue, you know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
I had a lot of good family members and friends that passed away that I would love to hear their voice again, get the feel, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope there's more that's behind this.
I believe there is. I believe we'll see our loved ones again.
Oh yeah. As long
And-
as you believe in God, there's everything possible.
I was going to ask you that too. What does God mean to you?
Oh, everything, man. You know
Everything?
What I mean? Without God, it wouldn't be the love.
Oh, what is God? Like, to you, what is God?
Man,
Is it the-
our
is it-
soul savior? You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
the one that brings the love into your heart, into just our savior.
And if you were to look into the heart of an enemy or someone that you don't like, what would you see different, and what would you see similar to yourself?
Man, that's a hard one. To save myself in somebody's else's eye, I played that part, but I'm not. You know, I don't go in that intersection anymore. But I don't want to be no hatred coming out anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I couldn't go into somebody else's and be like, "But I hate him."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And when you're 80 years old, what will matter to you the most?
Family and love.
Family and love.
Family and love, man. La familia, you know what I mean?
Simon.
Being able to say I spread more love than hatred.
Exactly. That's what we're all about.
It's
You know,
about it,
spreading
what I
love.
mean? Just bringing the unity and
Yep.
just being just
I believe
Yeah.
love conquers all.
conquers all.
And I wanted to ask you, what do you think, will our gente always be united? Or will our gente be ever united, or will we always fight against each other?
There will always be a lot of unity, but also there would also be some, you know, hatred. That's what keeps the world kind of keep rolling. It's sad that that's what it is, because in power and numbers we can conquer all. But
Yep.
there's a lot of people that don't see it that way, and then just, ya sabes, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
it's sad that that's what it is, but
It is what it is sometimes.
what it is.
What do you think is a roadblock to keep us from being united? Like in terms of like Mexicanos, Latinos, or whatever you want to call it, like, you know
there are
how
a lot
there's...
of people that just self-jealous, you know what I mean? That's the hatred that they got in, and they can't see another person happy, or you know what I mean? You just can't change that in some gente.
Yep. And if you had 30 seconds to say a message to everybody in the world that will listen at the same time, what would you say?
One love brings all one nation.
Orale.
Under one nation, one flag, one love.
Yep, that's what's up. I want to thank you for your time,
Yeah,
man.
man. Yeah, good effort.
Yep. I'm here with.
Lobo,
How you doing today?
I'm good, Vato. Thank you for asking.
All right, I want to start off with asking, what do you identify as? You know how our gente, they identify as different labels, Chicano, Latino. What do you identify with?
Indigenous, indigeno. You know, it used to be Chicano, Chicana, Chicanx, but at the end of the day, we've always been here. We didn't cross no borders. The borders crossed us.
Simon, that's how I feel, man. We're native. Deep down, we're native, but we just forgot. We've been stripped of our culture, our identity by the Spanish, European. Even to this day, like in Mexico, there's that racism, like, pinche indio, or, you know, it's that putting that down. But
No eres tan blanco.
Yup,
Yeah.
yup.
Yeah.
Mejorar la raza. Like,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Hablas con un pocho. Man, really?
I used to feel bad when I was younger when they would like clown on me because my Spanish is it's conversational, but it has an accent.
Sí.
But now I can be like, do you know Nahuatl? Do you know Mixtec?
Right.
You know?
Right.
You speak
Right.
the European language.
Right. Exactly, brother. Exactly. We got to decolonize.
Simon, decolonize our mind.
Come on.
Love versus hate, which is stronger in your opinion?
Love is always going to be stronger. The thing is what is hate? It's you hate something because of some reason. If it's racial, you hate somebody because of the way they look, the way they talk. If it's food, maybe you had a bad experience or you didn't like the way it smelled. It's always something. But if you could get to that root of that something and conquer it with love, se cae todo, man. Se cae todo.
Right, man. We're all about love, spreading love.
I think it comes naturally with us as like Mexica, Chicanos, Mexican. I think it comes naturally. I mean, think about we had an impromptu dance session here at one of the largest lowrider car shows in the Northwest, and people were afraid that there'd be like too many people taking pictures, breaking the circle. I told one person like, "Yo, just back up, just be respectful, and give them a card," and they're cool with it. But we go to Portland and the Gavachos, they trip. They want to know everything about you. They want to get all in your face. Our raza comes respectful by nature. We love by nature. We just got to bring that back.
Come on. We got to start with ourselves.
Come on.
I believe you can't change the world unless you change yourself.
That's how you change the world. You change yourself. I'll be the first one to admit, I'm almost 50 years old. I was like, I don't give a damn about pronouns. I don't understand same-sex stuff. And then I was like, I got to change myself. That's so narrow thinking, bro. That revolution's got to start here, and then it starts here. And then once I started learning, I was like, yo, my same-sex neighbors, they just like me. Yo, okay, so if you identify a certain way, it's disrespectful for me not to identify you like that. That's not cool with me. I can learn that. So then I started changing myself. And then once I started changing myself, it was a domino effect, and it made me easier to love.
Yeah. And then you inspire others, too, to change themselves.
Yeah, change is always good. It's a little uncomfortable because there's a little bit of fear. There's a little bit of the unknown, but it is always good. Change is always good.
And I wanted to ask you, what small act of kindness were you once shown that you will never forget?
Never forget, for real, straight up, I remember walking in the barrio, seeing a couple cholos come up to me, and they just like asked me like how I was doing because I was having a bad day, and I thought I was going to get jacked, dude. So just, I think, an act of kindness from people that looked like me, that were men, especially men, yo, that opened me up, bro, because like, especially for us brown men, we got to do better, bro. We can do better.
Yeah, absolutely. What lifts your spirits when life gets you down?
Seeing young vatos like you, seeing young raza walking around pride. Like I'm an old man, almost 50 years old, but when I come here and I feed off of the gente, it gets me juiced. It gets me so juiced. I love it. I love our people.
Where do you find inspiration?
In the people, straight up, I'll be honest. I did not want to get up this morning. It was raining. I was in bed, al costadito, my old lady and the dogs. I was like, oh, hell no. And then, like, I kept seeing stuff on social media of all the raza. I was like, yo, I got to go and be with my people, man. Where could I give a mass message to people that's based on positivity, know your rights, know how you can approach the cops, and know how they have to approach you? How can I empower my people on a mass scale? And then with the danzantes asking for security, I was like, just give me a table, and I'm there. And they did.
I really love that you're spreading awareness and knowing the constitutional rights so that we can protect ourselves from the government, police overreaching on our rights.
Of course, we all know that the Native Americans, the disgrace that they did to them, which we can say that we're Native too, right? And we can all say that the Constitution was not based on us and for us, but we could use it against them. It does not say you have to be an American citizen for the Second Amendment. It does not say you have to be an American citizen to know these rights. So if the blocker gives you a hard time, give them your rights, know your rights, and walk away. Get educated with it, and then empower all the other people.
Exactly. And I feel like we're the real Americans, the indigenous people, because it's called the Americas.
That's right.
It's called North America. We're indigenous to this continent, so technically we're the real Americans. Just
We're no
like,
pilgrims, man.
just like you call Africans Africans because they're from Africa. We're Americans because we're from America.
That's a really valid point. I never thought about that. That's a really valid point. You can identify as North, Central, or South America, but you're still at the end of the day an American because you're indigenous to the Americans. I love that.
If you had to teach something, what would you teach?
If I had to teach something, what would I teach? I would teach the power of education. And I'm not talking about degrees. I'm not talking about none of that. I'm talking about simple things like if you're undocumented and you go to like a carniceria and you see the placa there, you're going to get scared. Know your rights. If you struggle with something, maybe your family, they don't understand you at home or whatever, learn to talk to them. There's something called motivational interviewing. There's other methods of communication. Get educated with it. So at the end of the day, it's all about education. But that just sounds like super bougie, like, oh, I can't afford no PhD and all that. It's nothing about that. It's not even about picking up a book. It's about knowing something and how to obtain that information. I hate it. Even though, thankfully, I don't have a record, always seeing a cop behind me and just freaking out, just for no reason. I was like, yo, I could get shot, I could get pulled over. So then I educated myself, knew my rights, and I was like, I got to empower my gente. Now I ain't scared no more. Let them pull me over.
I love that, man. I love that. Education. And when you stop to think about it, this smartphone that you hold in your hand, all the world's information and history and knowledge is in the palm of your hand, easily accessible. You want to know how to fix your car? YouTube it. You want to get a degree or know your rights? You can look it up. The information of the world is in the palm of our hands, but we don't use it, I believe, to our fullest extent. We just look up YouTube videos, cat videos, and, music videos. But there's so much knowledge in this, but we don't really fully appreciate it and stop to think, I can learn a whole bunch of shit.
I do agree. I think some of us older cats that grew up with like the Dewey Decimal System in the car catalog in the libraries, they appreciate it because now you could just, hey Siri, what does the eagle and the condor mean? You know what I mean? Like whatever, right? So I think that comes with a little bit of grace with age. That's just with anything. When you get older, you learn to appreciate a sunset. You learn to appreciate different things. Now that I'm almost 50, I'm learning to appreciate the ease of accessibility to information. I never had that back in the 80s. Know what I'm saying? But now everybody's got that. Like, I'm loving that. How is that not a good thing?
Exactly. And if you didn't know how old you were, how old would you think you were?
I would say in my 20s because age is nothing but a number.
Exactly.
I don't want to be that. I don't want to ever be a number. I'm just going to be a thought, always.
I love that because so many people have that, oh, I'm 30, I'm getting old, I'm 40.
Yeah.
I've known people that are 30 and they act like, oh, my back hurts, I'm feeling shitty. I'm like, dude, you're young.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Straight up, you just heard me say like I'm almost 50. Like I gotta. That's another way of decolonizing. Like the ancestors, if you think about it, our Aztec calendar the Mayan calendar is the most accurate. It's the most precise. They knew the concept of age and numbers and mathematics. We invented the concept of zero. We have palaces and temples in South and Central America that are built so well they don't leak. They're thousands of years old. You know what I'm saying? So like the ancestors knew the concept of age really was like a season. It always changes. And that's where I'm coming from. Like, yeah, I may say I'm almost 50, but like I've been here for almost 8 hours already. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm going to be here all day. I don't care.
What is the meaning of peace to you?
The meaning of peace is serenity, just tranquil, just todo calmado, just everything just chill. That's the meaning of peace. And that's something I think we should obtain, whether it's in the barrio, whether it's in your heart. As raza, we should always try to attain some kind of peace. Why? Because we're the worker bees of the nation. If it wasn't for us, this nation wouldn't be able to function. You know what I'm saying? But like, do the undocumented workers, do they have peace? Do the single dads and moms, do they have peace? Does the blue collar worker working a 9 to 5 to pay back their loan degree, do they have peace? Or are they just caught in like a rhythm? Wake up, go to work, wake up. It's like the rat race, a capitalistic rat race. So peace, how do we bring peace within? And how do we get it? How do we maintain it? And how do we deliver it to others, right?
And what do you love most about yourself?
That I'm super open. I'm super open to anything, man. You talk to me about aliens, cowboys, UFO, I don't give a damn. Like, we could get in with it. Like, I'm super open because I want to learn. And the more that I'm open, the more that I find myself eager to learn certain things that 10, 15 years ago, I don't think I would have even been possible.
That's the beauty of growth. Like, where you see how far you've come as opposed to where you used to be.
100%.
And did I ask you this? Like, what do you think happens to our body? Or when we physically die, what do you think happens?
You didn't, but I think there is no death. I think there's no heaven, there's no hell, there's no death. There's just different degrees of being. You know what I'm saying? Even the ancestors, they knew that. They knew how to summon spirits. They knew different things. They knew that if you buried a body, it would turn into like mulch and fertilize the soil, and then there you go, you had a little milpa of maize there. I think death is just a human construct that we develop to help grieve. But I think just like life has its seasons, death is just another season. You know, in fall, the leaves die and they turn brown, but do they really go away? No, they go into the soil, they crumble, they fertilize the soil, here comes a tree, it sprouts, and here comes a leaf all over again. So what's to say that when we physically die, that's not what happens to us? We're still here, we're just on a different plane.
Yeah, I forget the name of, there's a Native American chief that said there is no death, only a change of worlds.
Makes sense.
What does God mean to you? What is God?
I think God is everything and everyone. I think we are gods. If you look at the natives, they had different deos, different deities, right? Tlaloc here in Oregon, he was the rain god, right? You had Quetzalcoatl, you had all these other deities. But, you know, one thing that we can learn from our African brothers and sisters is they call themselves king and queen because they realize now that they're royalty. So they treat each other like royalty. Whereas I think what we need to start realizing is that we're gods and goddesses. We've always been. So then if my brother or my sister is a god or goddess, am I going to treat you a certain way? I'm going to treat you like the royalty that you are, and vice versa.
That's what's up. I like that. And if you had 30 seconds to speak to everyone in the whole world at the same time, what would you say?
I would say get active. If you're white, get active. If you're black, get active. If you're brown, get active. Somehow, some way, get active in your communities. This pandemic has just ruined communities. It doesn't matter if you're a white, equal-minded person. Hey, use your privilege for something. If you're a black brother or sister, we got Panthers, we got all kinds of stuff. If you're a brown person, there's the Berets, there's Cadre Mexica, there's the Danzantes. If you're Native American, there's, of course, the AIM, American Indian Movement. Get involved in your communities, do some kind of positive change, because if we don't, who will?
Well said, well said. Well, thank you for your time. I love to hear your answers, man. You're very good, deep thinker, and I like the way you think.
Has to be, brother. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, man.
Take care. It was good talking to you.
Yeah, likewise, bro.
All right, I'm here with, what's your name?
Pretty hippie.
I'm Shiwi, and this is our show, Life in Conversation, and our show's about thinking deeper, connecting deeper, and spread love and positivity out in the world.
That's why they call me Pretty Hippie.
Pretty hippie, I like it. I like hippies.
Peace, love, and happiness. It's my motto in life.
All right, so what does it mean to be human to you?
This, to be able to live, to be able to enjoy life, to be able to love, to know God.
What is God to you? Yeah.
He's my everything.
Well,
Everything. He's my
what's
breath.
the concept? Like,
He's my breath. He's every reason why I have life.
when we die, when we physically die, where do you think we go, or what happens?
Well, my belief is that my soul will end up in heaven. My belief.
Yep. And love versus hate, which is stronger?
I would say love, because it's so easy to hate a person, but it's so easy to hate a person, and I think it's a lot harder to love even the people that make us upset or angry or make us feel all these different emotions. So I think it's a lot harder to love for that reason. But it's also a very easy thing to do if you allow yourself to love unconditionally.
That is right. You know, I've been getting a lot of answers at love, and I totally believe, too, love is more powerful. but yet the world is filled with hate. And is it because you think it's just easier to hate?
I do. I think a lot of people have a lot of underlying issues that they don't want to deal with, and so it's a lot easier for them to hate a person or to hate certain things instead of being able to seek beyond that and being able to love beyond the surface of what is going on in that situation or that circumstance.
Can you love an enemy?
Yes. To a certain degree, because spiritually I can say that I do not like the devil. I don't love him.
Yeah.
He's my enemy. I
True.
mean, I battle him every single day.
Yeah. And what do you identify as in terms of like our people? You have different labels: Chicano, Mexican, Latinx, Latino, whatever. Like, what do you identify as?
Well, my father came from Mexico, so I would say that I identify myself as a Mexican American
Okay.
with the Chicano descent.
Descent. And on that subject, what do you think of the term Latinx with an X?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard that.
You haven't heard that?
No.
It's something that's been brewing usually from white people or white America because it's gender neutral, because Latino, Latina, it's like they say it's either female or male, so somebody created the X at the end to make it more inclusive and gender neutral for somebody that supposedly doesn't identify with either. So they're trying to change the language to Latinx rather than Latino.
I don't even know how I feel about that yet.
Yeah, like it's something that I personally don't like. First of all, that's changing the Spanish language for a political position. But second of all, that's most of our people don't even like that. But yet white America, the Europeans try to speak for us, like if that's something that we want. And I see it as another form of colonialism where they're trying to impose their views on our culture.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
You know, honestly, I probably would prefer to even dissect a little further to be able to give my own opinion about that.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, check it out. It's Latinx. It's like Latino, but without the O or A, it's an X instead.
Yeah.
And when you're 80 years old, what will matter to you the most?
I would say God, first of all, and family.
And family. What if you had no family?
I'll always have family.
You always have family. And if you had 30 seconds to say a message to everybody in the whole world at the same time, what would you say?
Love conquers all. It really does.
It does. I wholeheartedly believe that. Thanks for your time. I don't want to take too much. But
Pretty
thank
hippie.
You. Thank you. My name is Shiwit. What's your name?
Luis.
What does it mean to be human, like to you? The human experience, what does that mean to you?
Well, to be human is, well, of course you eat, sleep, breathe, and all that, the regular. But as for the feeling type, to be a human is just to care for others, and to care for your planet.
Yep, I agree. And is it more important to love or to be loved?
Well, that's a good one. I love to love.
You love to love? We
Yes.
need that more in the world.
Yes.
How do you define success?
That's a good one. To me, I come as a big family. As long as your family, you have love within your family and you're tight knit together, that's success to me.
No,
You can interview her too.
if she would like.
Yeah.
What gets you excited about life?
My family.
Family. Family is everything.
Yeah. He's sweet.
Do you think crying is a sign of weakness or a sign of strength?
Strength.
Strength. I agree too. What's a belief that you hold which many people disagree?
Oh, there's not much.
Like, for example, I believe that we should love our enemies, love people that are hateful, because maybe they need it more than somebody who is nice. Maybe that person who's mean or hateful never experienced kindness or love in their heart.
Yeah.
At least that's what I believe.
Yeah, because that other people don't believe.
Yeah, like what's something that you believe or that most people don't really
Well, I
believe?
wouldn't say most, but I think equality. I think everybody is the same, regardless of where you're from, how much money you have,
Yeah.
how you look, and we're all the same.
Yeah.
Stacy.
What is sorry, I want one more question. If you had 30 seconds to say a message to everybody in the whole world that they would listen at the same time, what would you say?
That we should start listening to each other more, and everybody has a different point of view, and it's okay. You know, it's okay to disagree, but everyone has a right to their own opinion.
I agree. Well said, and thank you for your time. I am here with, what's your name?
Keel.
What is it?
Keel.
Keel, I like
Yeah.
that. Like Keel and Peel?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm Shiwi.
Nice to meet
And
you.
our show is called Life in Conversation, where
Yeah.
we just like conversate, think deeper, and connect deeper,
Yeah.
and spreading love and positivity in the world.
Okay.
And
That's good to hear.
I want to start out by saying, like, what is life to you? What is the difference between living and existing?
Man, living is, you take one day at a time. You be thankful for waking up each day. Thankful for the things that you have around you, like family, your love, your support. Because if it wasn't for that, nobody won't be living as much as they want. But everybody get that support and love from the families. Just waking up every day, a good blessing every day. That's what for me. That's what it is.
I like that. And love versus hate, which is stronger in your opinion?
There's a lot of hate in this world, but I think we shouldn't be hating. We should be loving each other, because there's a lot of stuff going on around here. Like all this the virus going on and everything.
Yeah.
All this riots and stuff. But we should be able to come together, as a unit and help each other out, make each other people grow.
Exactly.
Instead of hating, let's love each other.
Well, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Uplifting people rather than putting them down.
Yes. If somebody's down, you got it. Bring them up. Because if they're down here and you keep on going, let's bring each other up at the same time.
Yep.
Instead of having one person down and you're shining and they're not shining. But if they're trying to get to the same level you are, why not bring them along with you?
Exactly. And what about hateful people, toxic people, racist people? Do they deserve love too?
There's a lot of people. It's how they grew up on. They see, because I don't think they understand. It is how they was grow up on. How they're probably their some of their family members had grew up. From their parents. It starts from your parents. It starts from the love, the people around there. So if you learned it from your from your background, you're gonna have that anger in you still, because it's what they taught you when you was growing up. And that's all they seen is how their parents was acting, because it starts from our parents. That's what we teach and learn everything from.
Yeah,
it's them, and life, love, from races to everything. It starts from our parents.
Yep. A lot of times we're a copy of our parents, our upbringing, our community, and sometimes people just mimic how they grew up, whether it be racist, loving.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is.
And I'm blanking out here. When you're 80 years old, what would matter to you the most?
Just seeing my family happy, my kids, my girls, grandbabies, seeing them grow. 'Cause I got young ones still. So I would like to see them grow up and have a family themselves, and see them, that what I taught them in life, I like to see that, what I taught them, see how they come and mature as young ladies in the world.
I like that. And what does death mean to you? Like, when we die, what do you think we go?
Kill me about that shit.
So, what does death mean to you?
Death, I think we always have a time to go. We don't know when our time to go. On the man upstairs has the book written for us.
Yeah.
I said, live life one at a time. Thankful for every breath you take. What I say about death is, if it's your time to go, it's your time to go. That means that was your day to go. Because we don't know where we're gonna go. We can't say, always don't live forever. One of those days we're gonna have a time that we're gonna have to leave this earth, but we don't know what that day is. So I would say, we take every step, every day, every hour, breathe it in, help each other out, because you never know. You might not see tomorrow. What you do
Exactly.
today, do it as a positive way, because tomorrow you might not wake up, because we're not always promised for tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Live life in the present,
Yeah.
in the moment.
Yeah.
Not be so caught up in the past or in the future.
Yeah.
To take one day at a time.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
And what
Indeed.
life lesson you learned the hard way?
Man, I thought fast money was always the easiest way to get things.
Yeah.
That was the hardest thing. Getting in trouble, getting locked up, learning. I learned from it because I don't like when people tell me what to do. I don't like people, you gotta sleep this, you gotta sleep that, I like to be in control. I like to be my own boss, man. I like to, I don't like to be told what to do in those kind of voices, anger voices,
Yeah.
You don't want to, pee, sleep, eat, turn the lights off. I'm not even tired, so,
Right.
that's what I learned. Just seeing this the growth stuff, that you see around you in those kind of places,
Okay.
so
I like
that's what
that.
turned my life around.
And what lesson would you like to pass on to the younger generation?
Lesson, always, easy money is not the quickest way. Education, always get your education, stay in school, be a leader, not a follower.
Exactly. And then just one last one, because I don't want to take too much of your
Yeah.
time, so you can enjoy the
Yeah.
car
Yeah.
show. And that's if you had 30 seconds to say a message to everybody in the whole world that they can hear at the same time, what would you say?
Love, peace, happiness, and just take one day at a time. Help those who needs help, because sometimes we can't, go out there and help. But if we have that time to help them to grow.
Well said. Well said. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you for
thank
your
you.
time, man. Well, that was definitely an interesting and learning experience. It was fun. What you thought, Et?
It was really cool. Like I said, it really was a good experience. Yeah, it's just different characters, different individuals, different aspect in how people see life. Like I said, there was a lot of people, but there was a lot of them also were like pretty shy,
Yeah.
or they didn't know us, and I felt like in a way that we had to kind of build a like a good foundation in order for them to really know who we are. But yeah, then when we approached them that were willing to talk, really enlightened people, they got good point of views, experience, and cool stories too. And then when we ran into one negative person, for me, it really affected me, because it was just kind of like for them not knowing and understanding, almost like a little bit of ignorance, and that to me, like, I just wanted people to understand, but there is going to be people out there
Yeah.
with that mindset. So I mean, it's okay. I'm gonna try to brush that off, but I gotta be focused on actual people that are willing to listen and hear the words that we speak of.
Yeah, and it's a learning moment. Look at it like that. In life, we're gonna come across people like that don't get it, or ignorant, closed-minded, or negative, and we just have to learn to deal with it, process it, and then just move on, and let it not infect us with that negativity. And it can be hard sometimes. Like, even I was a little bit like, man, this guy.
Yeah.
So you want to say exactly the situation?
Okay, so we've been recording. We've been going around asking people, and there's a lot of people that just like, oh no, like pretty shy. Then we asked some other people; they were pretty cool. We did the interviews, and then one thing that we didn't notice is that the people that were on the walls, sitting down, are pretty much like there for their trophies, or they want to show their cars and stuff like that. But to my knowledge, we just thought that there's people out there like that are willing to just sit or talk to us and just give us their thoughts, or just give us some food for thought. We approached this individual, but I guess he just asked, like, I felt like he kind of felt a little bit offended because we went and approached. Honestly, we weren't in particular looking at somebody, but we just the first person that we saw was a female individuals, and we just asked them a couple questions, like, hey, do you guys want to ask some questions and whatnot, or I mean, if we can ask you some questions and just give us your thought. And an individual just turned and he just like gave like a what the hell is this? And I don't really know the word by word, but
Yeah, he said something. I mean, he did. I remember it distinctively. He said, "We're at a car show."
yeah,
And like, because I explained to him, because he asked what's the show is about, and I said it's about thinking deeper, connecting deeper, thought-provoking conversations, and spreading love and positivity. And then he's like, "Well, we're at a car show."
yeah, yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah, and then I was like thinking in my head, so we're here for the car show, but it doesn't mean we can't talk about other things.
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, think about the danza that there was right here, the Aztec dance. I mean, they weren't here just specifically to, amplify the cars. They were here to show part of the culture, and our roots and what's missing, and, just show pride of it. And then there's also people that are selling stuff, vendors. They're, not all of them are, not everybody is here for the cars. But I get it. He was on the fence, and he was just like not knowing what we were about. Maybe the way that we approached it was for him a little bit too much to even comprehend on what we were about.
Yeah.
One of the questions he didn't really fully understand, and and what was the question we asked him?
Because I told him, like, as an example of a question that I was going to ask him is, what does it mean to be human?
Yeah.
And he was like, what does it mean to be human?
So I felt like he just didn't really fully understand that. Yeah, I mean, like I try to throw another one out there, like one of the old ones that we did was the love versus hate, or which one's more, would you say stronger, right?
Yeah.
Which one's more stronger? But he was just more like already mocking and whatnot. Now we were just like, okay, to me, I don't really want to talk to closed-minded. I actually do find it as a challenge to talk to people like that, but. Being as it is, we are at a car show, and I'd rather focus on people that are willing to open their minds and have a good conversation, whereas somebody that is ignorant and doesn't understand what we're trying to do, which is pretty much be more self-aware and just give us your thought, man. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, it definitely is a learning lesson for me too, and how to deal with people like that. And then just in all walks of life too. It's easy to talk to people that are agreeable or friendly or open, but sometimes we have to deal with people that are closed-minded or more defensive. And it is what it is, and we just got to move on.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of characters here. I mean, even when waiting in line was intense. I mean, coming here first was really intense. Like, it felt like a lot of hostility, a lot of
toxic masculinity.
Yeah, a lot of people just mugging each other.
Rigid bodies, all acting tough.
Yeah, everyone had the little.
Up.
Yeah, all the stereotypes. But for some reason, when we would approach the more diverse people, as in like, let's say for instance, like the black or whites or different races. They approached actually more with the open mind, and I guess the conversation went easier because they weren't here. I felt like they weren't here to like impress anybody. They were here to
have a good time.
Yeah, have a good time,
yeah.
Which is exactly what everybody's here for. But in the same time, you got that like high fence,
Yeah, people representing who they are. Like, I'm here, this is what I'm about, I'm tough, or, like they're putting on like, what's the phrase they say, like, for, like, peacocks or birds where they, like, fluff up their feathers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or,
to try to impress.
I've seen that. It's like when cats, they try to look all bigger.
Oh,
They flare up with their hairs, too.
I noticed that, too, that a lot of our fellow brown people were more defensive, reserved, shy, whereas people of other ethnicities we're more open and more friendly and welcoming.
I wonder if that's how people see us though too. What if that's why one of the reasons they don't really approach us or talk to us? But however, instead of like big groups, when it's like, let's say when we leave here at this lowrider show at the convention center, when we leave here, I feel like people would be a little bit more vulnerable, willing to talk because they're not surrounded by a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, I think it just changes the environment on how they see somebody.
That is true. But it shouldn't be that way too. I mean, if somebody is genuinely open, they'll be open no matter where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
You can be like, hey, like, I would love to talk to you, but right now I'm in the middle of something or this and that. But you don't have to be close-minded or rude about it and be like, nah, you know, I'm the...
Yeah.
And another interesting thing I noticed too, because I wanted to get as many women as possible, it was a lot of the older women that were the older women or the confident women that were more open to speak.
Yeah.
Whereas it was like the shy that were reserved and said no, or the younger, they were more reserved, like, no thanks.
Yeah.
I found that interesting.
I felt like you were the only one wearing a poncho here. Why? Do you think so?
I saw a couple people, but what's the word? Like, not modern, but like when they like merchandise something, they make a merchant out of something.
Don't know.
Because like the poncho that I wear is made in Peru, and it's authentically made with alpaca fiber, whereas the others, it's like a print of like the Mexican flag, and it looks like it's like on polyester material, something that was made in a factory as opposed to something.
I mean, I'm
that's
not gonna lie, I
handmade.
kind of like the Aztec ones when they have them.
No, the Aztec ones are cool, but they can be itchy though.
I wouldn't know. I have clothes underneath. So.
But even so, like, and they're heavy too. This is light, and then because those kind of ponchos are usually either made from cotton or polyester, it soaks up water. Like this, I can walk in the rain with this poncho that I'm wearing. Like I wear it to work when I walk, and it gets wet, but yet I stay relatively dry underneath. And then this dries
What do
fast.
they have? Waterproof
They spray that waterproof. I did see a couple
wear
people wearing ponchos, but those were more the Mexican ponchos.
Yeah.
Where I wear the Peruvian ponchos because to me they were superior.
I did see some people when we were walking by, or I mean, when I was recording, when you were having conversations, some people were like, "Oh, what's that?" I felt like we should have just kind of like, "Hey, you guys want to be in this too?" But it's up to them.
I did notice that too, but I saw like in the corner of my eye, and I sensed it. Somebody like when we were talking to she identified as a hippie girl, or whatever. That there were some people like starting to form around first, like, "What's this about? What's this?"
Mm-hmm. But your voice, I realized that your voice was pretty low, so hopefully the mic got it. But
that's because I kept my mic closer to my mouth, and I didn't want to yell all loud when the mic is in my face, as opposed to like other people. If the audio is kind of bad or it's hard to hear, is because a lot of people, their mic technique, they had the mic far away from their mouth.
Yeah,
and we gently reminded them beforehand to keep it, but it's also loud in there.
Yeah. No, it's loud. I mean, either way, like I said, this was a really good experience. That way we know what to aim for and what to look for now. And, you know, even with our stuff that we had, we a little bit more, you know, prepared and equipped, I guess you can say. But
I got to find like a holster for this.
A holster?
For the recorder.
Yeah. Well, I should, if I get, it's a good thing then the camera's changed, because imagine if we were holding a big camera and I was looking like the cops, the guy from Cops. Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Big old thing.
Those old school VHS camcorders.
Yeah. Be changing it with the VHS.
But it was definitely fun. It was a good experience. I enjoyed myself, and we learned how to approach people better, and then also like what to look for.
Yeah, so all in all, it was cool. It was fun seeing everybody. I mean, I'm still trying to brush that one person off, but I know I shouldn't let somebody like that get to me. If anybody has or witnessed, experienced, or anything like this with somebody negative, and you know, just let me know, because I know it shouldn't get to me, but for some reason it still bothers me.
Like mentally, you tell yourself, brush it off, but emotionally you're still feeling it.
Yeah, it's just they don't understand what's going on, or I mean, maybe they do, but in their world, they don't really see like kind of for people to have open gestures or open conversation on anything. Anything. I mean, some people may see it stupid or whatnot, or some people may not want to talk about those things because it's not like really important for them. Mm-hmm. But you just put yourself in a robotic mode that you're just living life and doing what you supposedly think, this is life about. Yeah, you just and even here, surrounding ourselves with like a lot of people. Within a lot of people, everybody had their own little circle. Everyone had their
cliques,
own
their little groups.
Little group. I mean, it's cool. It's understandable for the females to stick together, but with us guys, it's just like we gotta let a lot of that kind of just
be relaxed.
Not more chill.
Not puff up the chest every time. But that, I think that also goes to our primitive days, back when we were still like more primitive, where like the apes get all like, they puff up their chest and they beat on their chest, right?
Yeah.
They make themselves look big by opening their hands up and standing up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that still in that.
Well, so there's other stuff coming up too. I mean, hopefully, let's see if we go to one of those. But for now, I guess we'll just have our guests and see how. Actually, we could use some of these questions and see how they've experienced some of these things too.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, that's all I got to say about it.
It's a good one. Definitely learning experience.
Yeah.
Take care of yourselves out there and each other. This is Shiwi.
And this is ET.
Peace.
Peace.